And we are live.
They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
still got it.
Yes. Hello. I'm James Wesley. Welcome to Stars in the House. Seth Rudetsky will be here in a minute. We are still recovering from our 11 plus hours that we did Stars in the House for Ukraine on Saturday. We're going to have a whole show or two or three breaking that down, that show, but today is not the day to do that. So here's what's going to happen. Seth is going to be back in a minute. Our dog Bagel had surgery 2 weeks ago, and he's getting his stitches out, God willing, tomorrow, because he's already taken by the vet. He's already taken them out himself once, and he's been basically at it 24 hours a day with the cone and with the booties and with the wrapping. And that's how today started, was him taking the bandages off. I almost called Dr. Lapook to say if we could just get the stitches out, but I decided not to bother him. So Seth is going to be here in a second. We're going to switch duty. But in the meantime, we are here for Ballet Hispanico. And if you go to our website, you'll see the donation button for them. There's a lot of exciting information you're going to learn, especially about their new commission piece that they're going to talk about today. But if you want to donate to them, please go. You can go to starsinthehouse.com. You'll see the donation button there. You can donate. You can forward your message and your receipt to donations at starsinthehouse.com. And Cicely Primus is here, and she's going to put the donations in the private chat. And because David Katz, our, by the way, newly appointed executive producer, and Jen Weiss has been bumped up to producer because they work so damn hard on the show. David will be joining us next week because he's doing a show. He is 21. He's in college. So and Seth is asking, are we live? Yes, Seth, we are live. You can go ahead and come in. About 20 dogs are right outside. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Jen Weiss, speaking of Jen, has a request, and that is we are going to be pushing out a lot of images for social media. I think we had about 80. Seth, you can join. When did you become so formal? About, I think, 90 to 100 guests. I think the press release is going to come out on Wednesday because of all the controversy going on that should not have happened, because we are so happy, by the way, for Coda, my favorite movie of last year, and for Ariana DeBose for winning last night, and that's what we want the attention to be on.
And by the way, for Questlove.
Yes, that's right.
Summer of
Soul.
You
Absolutely.
love that documentary.
That's right. We love that documentary. We're so happy for most of the people who won. So, but it led me to say that we're going to have a lot of social media images coming out to drive people to Stars in the House for Ukraine, because we know they need help, and with the millions of refugees that are pouring out of Ukraine. So we're asking you, Jen Waces, is that crowdsourced, but to ask our hardcore Sith core fam to basically your favorite moments of the telethon on Saturday, send them to Stars in the House 2020. You know the email, because we've had it for 2 years since we began in 2020, Stars in the House 2020 at Gmail. And Jen Weiss may use them in the graphics that Dana Delaney uses, or Marcia Cross, or Heather Locklear.
Favorite moments.
Yeah, so it's going to be like there's like the screenshot. I wish we had them.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's a screenshot of like the really cool like Melrose reunion moment of Marcia Cross and Heather Locklear. Like we want to send that, send those out. So Stars in the House 2020 at Gmail. And just a little upcoming thing, Oleg, who was to me, the highlight, and one of the highlights, by the way, was Norman Lear with the cast of Gilded Age. But Oleg, because he came from Odessa, Ukraine, came to us from Odessa, Ukraine. He and I've been corresponding, most optimistic, hopeful man in the midst of a war. He's going to become, watch out, Dr. Lapook. I think he may become a regular correspondent for Stars in the House
For Ukraine.
for Ukraine, and he's really great. And but one of the things, because he didn't know really about Stars in the House until I reached out to him a few weeks ago, and so I sent him our Wikipedia page, and I realized that our Wikipedia page has not been updated in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is another shout out to our Sith Core fam that is always there to go to Stars in the House Wikipedia page and help update it, so I can send it to.
They can do that.
Yeah, because exactly for this very reason.
Natasha needs help going on, so I'll take over.
All right, so you take over. I'm going to help Natasha Diaz get on.
Oh.
You go, Seth.
Hi everyone. Is my mic okay? I hope so.
And by the way, Seth,
Yeah.
because we did spend basically all day and night on Saturday. You may not know. I'm going to tell you right now. This is for Ballet Hispanico, and so on our website it has that. I'm just making sure.
But
yes.
But what you mean is that the money is
money raised. That's for the show.
Right.
Just want to make
So
sure.
people go to Stars in the House.
Yeah, they go to starsinthehouse.com and they'll forward it to donations at Stars
But
in the
when
House.
they click on the Stars in the House donation, it's going to Ballet Hispanico. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it doesn't actually even have to have that donate, but you know what? I'll fix all that.
Okay.
You
When you
take
go
it
to
from
Stars
there.
in the House, you'll be able to donate to Ballet
Yes, sir.
Hispanico, and you're going to find out why you should
That's
as we go through this show. So I never actually have notes, but we said we have we all did healthon, and we're like, we can't deal with noting out the show. So they sent us very thorough notes. So first, I'm going to bring on from Ballet Hispanico, I'm going to bring on Eduardo Villaro and Annabelle Lopez. And I want to say it's pronounced Ochoa. Am I correct? Annabelle? No, saying no. Okay, hold on. Annabelle, I tried so hard. How do you pronounce it?
Annabelle Lopez Ochoa.
Ochoa?
Yes.
Right, because Ochoa would be Italiano, Ochoa, Espanol. See?
Yes, exactly.
I took Espanol in La Escuela Secundario. And here's Eduardo Villaro. Hola, Eduardo.
Hola, how are you, Seth?
I'm good. I got up to Espanol 3.
Muy bien, fantástico. Hi, hola, Anabel, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, buenos días, buenas noches.
Hola.
Eduardo.
Yes. Keep it in el tenso presente. Easy. And only ER verbs, please. Okay, so tell everybody what your roles are, each of you. I love your backgrounds, but what are your actual roles here?
So I'm the artistic director and CEO of Ballet Hispanico, but I was also a dancer with the company back in the day.
What was the day, dear?
Well, I don't know. You know, back in the day, 85 through 95.
How happy are you now that you don't have to monitor your carbs?
Oh, I still have to monitor them.
But most dancers I know basically live on Diet Coke and cigarettes. Is that what your life was back then?
Tab. And
Tab cigarettes. Got it. And Annabelle, what about you? What's your role?
My name is Annabelle Lopez Ochoa. I'm the choreographer of Dona Peron. And I used to dance also, and that's like 19 years ago. So back in the day, I was a dancer also.
So Annabelle, you went from dancer to choreographer. Eduardo, you went from dancer to head honcho, as we say. So what is Ballet Hispanico? Tell everybody who's watching for the first time.
So Ballet Hispanico is the nation's oldest Latino dance organization. We are one of America's cultural treasures. We're so much. We're a professional dance company, internationally known. We are a school of dance that serves kids throughout the metropolitan area. And we also have this incredible programming that goes out into different communities, both here and while we're on tour, called Community Arts Partnerships. So while our heart in Ballet Hispanico is dance, our backbone is education. And that means education for everyone.
It's very Jacques d'Amboise of you.
Yes, it is.
But let me ask something. Ballet Hispanico, is it, I know it's obviously founded by the Latin community, but is it just for Latin dancers, or is it just called that and anybody can take? Like, what's the requirement to be taking classes?
Well, the organization was built and founded by Tina Ramirez, a choreographer and a flamenco dancer who also worked on Broadway. And she wanted to give voice to Latino and Latina artists. And so that's why she started the company. But she wanted to show the rest of the world the beauty and diversity of who we are as Latinos. So she was tired of always seeing us be maids and just unsultry people online, not online at that time.
Unsavory.
Right.
Very sultry, but unsavory. But continue.
Right. And so she formed this in order to give a deeper view of what it is to be, this Latino person. For her, it was a Latina person.
Brava. So nowadays, anyone can actually study there.
Anyone can study there. Although we still, cater to Black and brown kids, because she also wanted to provide a school that was not just a ballet school, that it was a school that did a lot of folk dancing, and also did not, she wanted to have a space for those kids who were not cookie cutter ballerinas to be able to be trained. And that's why it's still part of who we are.
And it's your 50 anniversary, right? Is it your 50th anniversary?
52.
52.
Sí. So we were supposed to celebrate our 50th, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh, right.
And we couldn't. So we've spent 2 years slowly celebrating it. And this is the year that we're finally really finishing it off and just enjoying the celebration. And part of it is with this beautiful work by Anabel Lopez Ochoa, Doña Peron.
And it's Doña Peron. So those of us that are Broadway people, we know it. Well, we know the story of Evita as Evita. But this is now a dance about Evita called Doña Peron. And it's the first, as far as I know, the first full program choreographed piece, right?
Yes, it is. It's the first full evening length ballet for the company.
So Annabelle, is there like una Peron, or is it like different ages of Doña Peron?
Oh, that is a very good question, actually, because that's part of the concept. There is one Eva Perón, but she will be haunted by her past. And therefore, there's a little Evita, 6 years old, 8 years old, that's going to haunt her during the entire piece. How did you know?
I don't know, because I was just thinking about how do you make it into a ballet? I'm an artiste. Let me ask you something. What is the music for Doña Peron?
The music is by Peter Salem. He's a composer of, movies, television, and theater pieces. And this is the 5th production we do together. So I always say to people, you will not have Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, but you will not miss it. Damn it.
Let me ask you something. There's a lot of controversy because, people obviously worshipped her, but she also thought Nazis were fun. So how do you sort of handle that? What attracted you to this piece?
Well, because she's so complex. And I think that every human is very complex and very layered. And, so it's like an opera. She's really traumatized. She was traumatized during her youth by, the rejection of her father. And then she had to, almost sell her body to get up the ladder of the status, of the social ladder, to get up as an actress, and was very, frowned upon. And then she met the man of her life when she was 25 and had 8 years, and that's it, exit. And even then, as the first lady, she was still rejected by the oligarchs. So really, we show the backstory to understand her drive and why she made those decisions. We don't want to judge her. We don't want to love her too much, but we think she's glamorous, and therefore she deserves a ballet.
Totally. Is it one of those things where she begins barefooted and by the end she's sur le point?
Oh my God. Did you see my piece already?
Oh. Just asking.
Yeah, she will be we'll be starting the piece with the descamisados, and then we'll show the gradual rise. And the subtitle was actually The Rise and the Fall of a Diva. And so the whole theme is about her being on a pedestal, falling, and the descamisado putting her back there, as if almost she's the Virgin Maria. I don't
want to brag, but not only did I take Espanol in La Escuela Secundario, but I took a few years of ballet in college. And if you need an arabesque on a bicycle with a sort of winged foot,
okay,
I'm available.
You're hired.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a sizzle reel. Is there anything before I show it that you want to tell me about it?
No, let's watch it.
This is Doña Peron. And I should really be promoting when this is happening. What's the actual date? And it's around the country too, right?
So April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, this week coming, you have the opportunity to see it 4 times, 2 matinees and 2 evening performances. 2 evening performances at City Center.
A beautiful place. All right, here's a little sizzle reel. Let's watch Doña Peron. Yes, Queen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask Annabelle more questions, but Eduardo, you can stay here also because I find this all interesting. So let's talk about the whole evolution. So did you say, I want to make a ballet about Eva Peron, or did someone say, did they commission you?
Well, actually, it is Mr. Villaro who came with that brilliant idea.
Oh, you thought of it. Are you a fan of Evita, Eduardo?
Of course. I mean, any fierce diva up on a pedestal, I'm there. But I think that this is really something that it's part of the vision that I brought to Ballet Hispanico when I took over for Tina Ramirez. You know, the reclaiming of our stories, the taking back of these stories that were told by others who aren't us. So here we have I saw an opportunity for this brilliant choreographer, because I adore her, to work on this story of this powerful woman. Of course, I'm going to go for it, right? And it needed a certain stylization. It needed what you will see when you come to the performance in order to tell this story, because it's a timeless story. We didn't need to go back historically. We just needed to place it in a way that shows this icon and her perseverance, and also her story, because her story is very similar to a lot of women's stories and a lot of people who are marginalized. So it's very important for our mission and our vision.
So Annabelle, how do you begin? It goes, okay, I'm going to make a ballet. Is your composer composing as you're choreographing? Like, how does that whole mesh together?
I think a year in advance, I sat down with Nancy Meckler, my artistic collaborator. She's a director of theater plays in London. And we asked ourselves, if we're going to describe Eva Peron in 5 scenes, which scenes would that be? And so we all went in on a scribble on a paper, and we came up with 7 scenes, 8 scenes. And in the end, we decided to have 10 scenes to show facets of her life. And we actually start with a flashback. So it's her last speech, and she's about to die. And what happens if she looks back? How did she become who she is? What was her journey? And so we show the entire journey until we come back to the last speech, and she actually falls off that pedestal, but this time she's dead. So that's how we came with it.
And she's also turned out as she falls. But let me ask you something. Is the composer composing as you, is it a male composer or a female?
Yeah, it's Peter Salem. No, I first write the script, and then he goes chronologically with each scene, and then he really finds, melodies for themes in the ballet. And so once the music is done, then I go to the studio and I make the piece.
But do you say, like, I think this scene is like a Petit Allegro feel, or like he just comes up with it himself and then you choreograph to what he came up with?
No, I describe what the scene is about. If it's the military coming in, and I say, hey, I would like some malambo movements on it, or, this is the oligarchs. So, they used to dance the waltz. So he does a lot of research. And from what I write, he can find the theme. And it's always, a gift what he gives me. It's really, I'm always very grateful. It's beautiful melodies.
By the way, people are wanting to know, who is the lead dancer playing Eva that we saw?
It is Dandara Veiga Amorim. She's a Brazilian.
Dandara is her first name?
Yeah, Dandara, yes.
So what I just noticed in that sizzle reel is that white dress, and those of us that know Wicked, there's definitely a similarity when she's flying at the end of Act 1 and the dress is flowing and flowing and flowing. Why did you decide to make the white dress so iconic and so flowy?
That is an idea actually of the costume designer, Mark Eric Rodriguez. Oh, wow. He said, I see this image where the white dress, because that's really the iconic thing from her fashion, is that white dress. So we couldn't make the piece without the white dress. Mm-hmm. And he said it should, be on top of the entire stage. And I thought, okay, but how do they dance? And so I said, I honored the idea. I put the white skirt on her. And then I thought, how do we get out of it? And that's how a choreography, to be creative is to find solutions for problems. So I had a problem. I needed to get that dress off stage. And that's how I created the whole choreography.
But are you choreographing in your head? Or are you calling your friends and saying, can you come over? I'm going to put these steps on you.
No, I don't choreograph at all in my head. I just show up in the studio and I play around with the dancer. I let my inner child play around. And then magic happens.
And how do you notate choreography to yourself? Or do you videotape it?
We videotape everything.
Ah.
Yes.
Back in the day before videotapes, when you guys were dancers in the day, what did you do? You had a Walkman? What the hell did you do? Betamax?
We notated, we had ballet masters, writing things down, and we had those horrible VHS, tapes that by now they're gray, you can't see anything. And, it was such bad quality that we all looked really fat.
Was it bad quality or was it the 80s food we were all eating? Snackwells.
Both.
Thank you. And Annabelle, I'm so fascinated by your accent. Where are you from?
I'm from Belgium. I'm half Colombian, half Belgian. I was raised in the French language, and I went to Antwerp in the Flemish part of Belgium.
Oh, so vous parlez français.
Je parle français, le néerlandais, l'anglais et l'espagnol.
Again, present tense seulement. Okay, where was I? Okay, so are these dancers the company members for Ballet Hispanico, or are they cast from like an open call or something?
No, Eduardo has, hired everyone. We have 16 dancers for this show. So I think Ballet Hispanico is a little bigger. It's not me. It's Mr. Villaro that chooses the dancers, and I'm very happy with his choice.
Did Eduardo say, hey, have you thought about having a Perón who was sort of like a little older than the other dancers and used to dance back in the day?
Actually, one of the initials, oh my God, you're so good.
It's good.
The initial idea was to have an older dancer dance Perón. And then that idea, see, when I said one day I called Eduardo and I was like, how about you?
And Eduardo said?
And I said, yes, I would love to. However, it's just, I'm too busy. I couldn't dedicate the time needed for that, but I would have loved to.
Have you hung up your dance belt for good?
Yes, honey, I got rid of her years ago.
My day we were underwear. Okay, so I'm going to show this video. It says NGL video. You know what makes me crazy is acronyms. What the hell does NGL stand for? Am I supposed to know?
Don't worry. This is a video that's like part of we made these little snippets of the making of Doña Peron, and this is one of them. NGL is a fabulous company that did that for us.
Oh, I see. So this is the making of. This is like rehearsal footage too?
Yes.
Okay. And again, I don't want to make you jealous, but I was just with Tyler Peck and I still got it.
Okay, you are serving us the lingo, pictures, arabesque, petite, everything. Come on now.
By the way, that is the height of my arabesque.
It's very humble.
All I got is a sassy tendu. All right, here is the
Kenny arabesque.
It's petty. All right, here we go. Here's the NGL video. Enjoy.
Mark Eric is the costume designer of Doña Peron.
It was very exciting when Annabelle came to me with the idea that she's putting on a story of Eva Perón on stage. Eva Perón, Juan Perón, they're historical figures. So we really started looking at photographs, images, and I really kind of honed in, drawing inspiration from Evita's obsession with couture fashion.
I love the fact that he really researched a lot about more than what she just wore, but why she wore those things, and went to museums to get the pattern of that Dior white jacket that she was wearing in that one picture.
There's over 80 costumes in the production, and they really all serve to kind of move the story along and tell the story of this iconic character, Eva Perón. In the story, you'll see different core dancers who serve really a purpose of providing different characters in the story, coming in and out in different costumes. Designing for ballet is really interesting. There's a balance of form and function.
The fabrics have an incredible amount of stretch in them. So when the dancers first put the trousers on, they went, oh, they look really nice. But you could see they were nervous. And we said, don't worry, move around in them. And then they were able to kick their legs and their eyes just lit up because, oh, we can actually dance in them.
We start to see the costumes in movement, and we have to do a lot of changes and a lot of things to make it work for the dancers. But seeing them come to life in the studio is what we live for.
So here I am with Ballet Hispanico, and we're bringing our first narrative ballet, which is the life of Evita Peron.
The process began with me just coming into the first few weeks of rehearsals and watching, just observing where Annabelle was with the choreography, and start to draw different ideas that come to mind.
I love object theater, so that's always how I tell my stories. And he really went along and thought with me how we could develop that in a visually interesting way. By the masses, the descamisado, she was really put on a pedestal almost like a saint. And so we're using those wooden blocks, and we built them bigger and bigger throughout the piece.
So one of the principal components is this floating cube. It's about 8 feet by 16 feet tall, and has a depth of 6 feet. And this is the untouchableness of Eva.
We call it the icon, and we will be projecting things that happens internally with her on that wooden block.
For me, a projector is really just a large light that can do really specific things. So some of the imagery that you may or may not recognize as projections are going to feel like shadows. They're going to feel like silhouettes. They're going to feel like subtle fractures of the space. They're going to feel like extensions of the choreography. I don't think it's going to be like any ballet you've seen before. The curtain's going to open, and I hope that everyone's awestruck. I hope that everyone feels like they're about to see something pretty remarkable.
I think Dona Peron's very exciting. It's more than just a conventional ballet.
Peter Salem is a magician. He offers such beautiful melodies and themes in the story that relates to characters or to certain events that reoccur in the piece.
So composing for ballet is different from composing for TV and other media like film in that you've got much more responsibility for the narrative. The music is a much more integral part of the piece. For this particular case, obviously, I needed to do much more research into Argentinian music and tango.
The scale of this ballet is huge. We're talking about a new composition for the work. We're talking about a libretto, a director coming in, live musicians.
To me, it's quite critical to have live musicians for dance. I think it's exciting and it creates more of an event. You've got the interaction between the dancers and the musicians. I mean, it's part of the reason why I write music, especially for ballet, is to give people exciting things to do. You're giving the dancers stuff to do, you're giving the musicians stuff to do, to use their skills and to perform, which is one of the most exciting things.
Every time, I fall more and more in love with his music. It touches a core for me, how much the melody helps the emotional line of the storytelling.
I mean, I think the whole thing keeps you gripped dramatically. I think people will be very moved by the time they experience the whole of the ballet.
Okay, a couple things. I love that it's live music. I agree because things ebb and flow. So I love it using live musicians. I love that one person's doing the set and the projections and the lights, so it's like one clear vision. I agree what Julia said. That whole skirt is insane. So cool. I agree with what Jan said. Every element of this production looks fantastic. And quite frankly, I agree with what Lori said. Damn, the guy playing Juan is so hunky. God, it covers everything. Now then. So I'm gonna give you guys a break, and I'm gonna bring on our oh, what is that? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, wait, before I forget, all the donations tonight are going to Ballet Hispanico, and it's to first of all create works like this, but also as Eduardo was saying, if you go to starsinthehouse.com, it's helping education because so many people may have dance skills and they literally have no idea until they go to a dance class. So if you support Ballet Hispanico, you can find the next Eduardo Volado who danced back in the day. We need someone to be dancing in the future day. So please contribute so we can find our next amazing, Latinx dancer superstar. So I'm going to give you guys a break. I'm going to bring on Dr. John Lapook. So Annabelle, peace out. Eduardo, adios. And now welcome Dr. Juan Lapook.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Lapook.
That was pretty amazing yesterday. Wow.
Oh, you mean the telethon?
For the telethon.
Yeah, we're
Was that
still
yesterday?
it was
That
2
was
days ago.
2 days ago. Time
Basically
flies.
24 hours. Dr. Lapook, I know that we got to talk about Ballet Hispanico because your wife is very involved, but we got to talk about for 2 seconds about this sort of, I guess COVID is over, no more masks. Ooh, by the way, there's another variant and everyone's getting COVID. But anyway, no more masks. So what's happening?
So what's happening? We talked about this 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? What's happening is I'm trying to get in this way, I guess. I'm going to pick up the chair.
Mid-range.
There we go. 3 or 4 weeks ago, we talked about this, that people are fed up with COVID. I know I am. They're done. And so when this new CDC guidance came out, which talked about the color, yellow or green, whether or not you wear a mask, being related to the strain on the healthcare system, as opposed to the number of cases alone. It's the strain on the healthcare system, meaning the number of cases, how many hospitalizations there are, how many people in the ICU, things like that. So suddenly, everybody said, "Okay, I can take off my mask." Plus, they were fed up with it anyway. So more and more people took off their masks. Plus, we have this variant, which is the BA.2 variant of Omicron, which is 25 to 30% more infectious than the original Omicron. What that all added up to was, and we're seeing this in New York City now, we're seeing a little bump in the number of cases, a bump in the percentage of tests that are positive. But what we're not seeing, I just looked at this about an hour ago, is there's no bump in the number of hospitalizations. It's really still coming down, actually, compared to 3 weeks ago, if you look at the 7-day average. Same thing with deaths. So I think what's happening is a lot of people are vaccinated, or they've been infected, or both.
Mm-hmm.
If you are vaccinated and boosted, we can't say this enough. The CDC is urging people, if you are vaccinated and you are eligible to be boosted, get boosted, because that adds that added protection. If you have that and you get infected, which everybody and their mother is getting infected these days, I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm certainly seeing it.
Yeah.
They tend to not be. I don't have one patient yet who has been in the hospital or in the intensive care unit, and that includes a few people who are immunocompromised. So it can happen. It's not to say that it can't happen. The people who do, there are deaths, there are hospitalizations. There's still, way too many deaths and hospitalizations. But if you're vaccinated and you're boosted, you are way less likely to get really sick. So that's one thing for everybody out there, because you got to be thinking, so what am I supposed to do? I mean, can I go out and play? Can I leave the cave? Can I come out of hibernation?
Right.
And I would say that the answer is you got to think about what you're going to be doing in the next 10 days or so. That's going to be my number, 10 or 11 days. And why is that? Because let's say I decide I'm going to go to whatever event, and I'm not going to be careful and I'm going to get infected. Okay. So, I get infected on day 1, say. It may take 5 days for that to show up in terms of the incubation period, anywhere from 1 day to 7 days, even a little bit longer. But let's say on the average 3 to 5 days or so. So by 5 days, I've turned positive or I've started to get sick. That's 5 days from the event that I went to. Right. Now I got to be 10 days of isolation plus being careful, maybe 5 days isolation, wearing a mask. So it's going to affect me for the next 15 days or so, right? So when I'm making that decision as me, I'm thinking, well, what am I doing in the next 15 days? Well, for me, I'm going to the world premiere of Dona Peron on Friday, and twice on Saturday, and once on Sunday.
Okay, but so Annabelle loves that.
So I'm going 4 times. So that means for the last 7 days or so, because we're still what is today? Today is Monday, right? It's really hard to keep track of time. I've been super careful, because I know that the last thing I want to do is become infected. Sometimes it can happen despite your greatest efforts. And I think that's how people should be thinking right now. Right. So after Dona Peron premieres.
Anything goes.
Then anything goes. No, then there'll be the next event. By the way, I was at that Tyler Peck night at City Center, the same exact, she put together this amazing program there. And I can tell you that I was very impressed. They checked your ID at the door. They made sure that you had the vaccination card. They matched it up to your photo ID, and then people were wearing masks. So I felt very safe in there. I really did.
Delicious.
I was not worried one bit. So this is not just because my wife is the board chair of Ballet Hispanico, but I've been hearing about this piece for a very, very long time. I've seen the rehearsals, and it's going to blow people's socks off. It's really amazing, and it's only 4 performances.
I know.
Go.
Okay, I'm going to bring. So Dr. Lapook, speaking of going, you're going to go, and I'm going to bring out some more people. But actually,
what?
Get that H out.
All right, hold on a sec, because Bagel's asleep for 1 minute. So I want to make sure, because you probably were wondering, hi, Dr. Lapook.
Hi, James.
You're probably wondering why in the heck this was mysteriously coming on.
Yes.
That was me in the other room, like petting Bagel, making sure for you to remind people of the dates and that they can get tickets right here. So I'm sorry, I just kind of sprung that on you, but
you can get tickets right there. Oh, wow. You can get a discount.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, James.
There you go.
I got to go back to Bagel.
Dr.
Don't miss this. I'm shilling for this. Don't miss this.
Switch seats with your wife. Bring on Dr. Kate Lear.
Okay, we're going to switch positions. Okay. And magic.
Okay, it's not that much magic. I see you walking away. Hi, Kate Lear.
Hi, Seth.
I'm very excited to bring on some cohorts.
Please.
I'm going to bring back Annabelle or Annabelle. Do you like Annabelle?
Annabelle.
Annabelle is good.
Annabelle, okay. Then I'm going to bring on
Tilt down.
Michelle Caruso Cabrera. Michelle, 1, 2, 3. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
And then I'm going to bring on another Latina dancer, but from the Broadway, but also from the ballet world, Miss Natasha Diaz.
Yeah.
Hi, Natasha.
Hello.
Okay, Dr. Lapook, you're upstaging us. I literally only hear you talking. Get the H out of the room. Kate Lear, tell them to keep the trap shut. Okay, ladies.
Come and chat at evening.
Honestly, Kate, I can't.
He can't help himself. What can I say?
So, ladies, you're all women in the arts, and you're all, well, not Kate Lear, but basically people of color. Kate Lear, a major supporter. So talk about this, because I was saying before about how we have to find the next Eduardo Villara. So is it hard? I mean, is dancing supported in Latin families, or is it like you have to be a doctor?
My parents, if I can answer, I was a tomboy, so that's why I was sent to ballet, but they didn't want me to become a dancer. So
because why? Is it not supported in your culture, or was it just there's no money in it?
No, they thought I was going to be an engineer like my father.
But I would say in Latin culture, I mean, boys and girls are taught to dance like almost exiting the womb. I mean, if you're not, if you don't know how to merengue or salsa by the time you're a teenager, what happened?
I have a friend here who is the head of a flamenco company, and she is no joke, a Veterans Affair judge. And she flamencos on the side.
Okay, so it's very encouraged.
Like you do. So I think that they, I mean, what I've seen is they would prefer you have a degree that you do something.
I mean, you're not going to make a living on that, are you? But, that's what
However,
they say, but still.
Natasha, your mother's a ballet dancer. She had the nerve not to encourage you to be a ballet dancer. That's really her field.
Well, it happens around 13, 14 years old, the bloop, the butt gets bigger. Then you're like, oh, but my dance teachers could see it. They said, oh, she loves to jump and turn and sing, so there's, you realize early what you have.
There's Broadway, not ballet, because ballet's so obsessed with body types.
No, but I just to weave it back around to Ballet Hispanico and this ballet, there is and about people of this culture taking their stories back and using your own voice and your own artistic lens. As far as I know, a proper ballet training, you were always made to study different dance forms, so that you could understand where their movement came from. so you could understand just the muscle of it. And I think it's just like anything else. Like, why would you? Isn't the bigger picture to have a deeper, more varied artistic experience? And doesn't that come from different lenses? Just like with acting, wouldn't you want to see a sensibility filter an idea? And I think it's, I think of all like the Don Q, all the ballets, but Hispánico it's taking the ballet and the Spanish movement, whereas another company may not understand where that comes from in the back, so I think it's fascinating. It's fascinating. And Anna, that movement is just, it really is so beautiful. I had a little joke here. I said, when you asked Eduardo, so do you want to dance? And I said, and I would love to.
Yes.
And the second thing is, Halabrel, want to leave the family.
I love that. That's from Jacques Brel. Please, I know it all too well. So then, Kay, Lear, and Michelle, you guys are on the sort of outside of Ballet Hispanico, meaning you're not on the stage. So, Michelle, you're I want to say chairman of the board, president of the board?
No, Kate is chair of the board. She is our fearless leader. I'm the president, so I'm her wing woman, so to speak. Boards are extremely important to the arts in the United States because we provide guidance, we help raise money to make sure that we can commission a full-length evening work. What's so significant about Dona Peron for us as a 52-year-old organization is this is the first time that we have commissioned a full-length evening work because it costs money. It's important. Like, Annabelle's got to come from the Netherlands. She's got a team from all over the world because we want the best for this production, right? And so that's a key role for the board. We provide other kinds of guidance for the leadership of the executive leadership of the company, Eduardo and all his staff, but that's our role.
Kay Lear, you came from the world of ballet too. Were you suddenly told your butt is too round to do ballet? Is that why you dropped it?
No, but I didn't. I really didn't have a great plie, so that's what I was told.
Okay, by the way, a great plie. That's the most boring step of all. That's what you had issues with?
It's extremely important if you want to be a prima ballerina, which I did. But that was, I think, the essence of the problem. But then when I stepped away, there was a whole other world. After the age of 20, I could see there was a whole other world out there. So it worked out well for me. But I wanted to jump back to something that Michelle was talking about. When Eduardo came on 12 years ago as executive director, artistic director of Ballet Hispanico, this idea of doing a ballet about Eva Peron was already in his head. So as the board chair and as a member of this amazing group of individuals who are the board of Ballet Hispanico, who I cherish, it was really our responsibility to keep that dream alive for him and to do everything we could to make it come true. And here we are on Friday night, it's coming true. So it's very exciting.
It's really like it's about to happen. And again, as James told me to remind you, it is premiering extremely soon, and we can get a discount because you're watching Stars in the House. Hispánico Friend, 20% off. And if you donate at starsinthehouse.com, you can contribute towards the next Doña Peron, perhaps Señor Perón, starring two aging dancers, or whatever else is happening. Edward, I'm going to be the matinee. Thank you. Okay, so Annabelle, Annabelle, you flew to New York to choreograph this. How often were you doing it, and how many frequent flyer miles do you have?
Oh, I fly already for 20 years around the world to make choreography, so it's not so bad. I'm used to the jet lag. I started online during the summer because my visa wasn't ready on time after the pandemic. So I was in the Dominican Republic and did the first part of the first week online, and then I came for 3 weeks in September. Then I came back in November, December, and then Omicron came visit us. So we were more often at the hotel, stuck, getting tested. And then we tried again mid-December, and we got Omicronized again. We did a few more rehearsals just before going to New Orleans. We had 4 more days, which was really, I'm very grateful that we could do those days. They were very important. And yeah, in total, I think we had 6 weeks to piece. But, you know, I think as an artist, a work is never finished. There's always something that you can improve, and, you know, interpretation, the pace. It's especially breathing with the drama, and that is, we can only do that with an audience. And so it's been amazing that I could see it in New Orleans, in Detroit, and in Chicago.
And had a lot of musicians there, of course, he was suggesting. And Kate Lear, why Ballet Hispanico? Why are you not on the board of NYCB or SAB or, you know, some other ballet company? Pacific Northwest.
I live in the building with Jody Arnhold. Jody Arnhold is one of the great supporters of dance in New York City and in the world, really. And you know, it's like a cane coming around my neck and pulling me. She would say to me in the elevator, you know, you really owe it to yourself to learn about Ballet Hispanico. And I did, and I fell in love with this organization. One of my entry points was the school, and when I went to ballet school, you had to look a certain way. And at Ballet Hispanico, you can look any way you look. There, you know, there are people of all shapes, sizes, and colors, and I love that. I love the embrace of this school to our students, and that was what made me fall in love with the organization. And from there, of course, I learned about the company, our outreach programs, and I was absolutely hooked. And this is a long time ago. Michelle and I have been doing this work, this love, for almost 20 years.
Something you said, Kate, which is really important. When you showed the sizzle reel, did you notice that Evita Perón in our Dona Peron is Afro-Latina? The real Evita was pearly white with platinum blonde hair. It's this very Hamilton-esque approach to Evita that I think is so interesting for this moment in time. And Annabelle, I don't know if you want to talk about how you picked her.
Well, I didn't look at color. I just, you know, the theme was the rise and the fall, and there was a little pedestal, a wooden box, and I put 5 of the ladies on it, and the company had to run and catch her when she was falling and bring her back to her initial position. And for me, Dandara really captured the strength and the vulnerability of the character that I was looking for. And then, you know, we wanted to be also a universal story. I mean, when I see the images of Kentaji Brown, who's being, you know, interviewed, and she's a woman of color on a pedestal. She's, you know, justice, and all these men who try to bring her down. That's basically what it is for a lot of women of color. And a lot of women in those times, and still now, when you're at a certain position, people want to knock you off. Do you really deserve it? Are you qualified enough? So yes, that's why for me color wasn't important, but I do see now that it has this extra layer.
But as an actress, can I thank you for the purity of your choice in that process? Because I like to think that that's where this moment is going. That it is not, we're going to check this box. That we are going to see what spirit illuminates the truth inside our piece, the best, or not even the best, to what our vision is.
Right.
That's what's important, is the artistic vision.
Forward thinking.
Wonderful.
Okay, so 2 things I want to show. So Natasha doesn't know I'm showing this, but it's so appropriate because Natasha's in this, and it's about Evita. It's something I did with her maybe 13 years ago. And it's from a show called Broadway 101, where we teach the audience how things work. And this is about teaching what a quick change is. So this is Natasha as Evita in this little scene, and we show the quick change, and then we show how it works. So they're really 2 fun clips, Natasha. I don't think you've ever even seen, you knew that I filmed this. Let's watch.
It's good for me, I'm bored, so clean and so ignored. I'm only predictable, respectable. Let's fly out of here, so why the hell can't I only variety, wanna be a part of the Buenos Aires, Bella. She wants to be a part of the Buenos Aires, Bella. suck on you, you'll be on me too.
Okay, first of all, look at the amazing change. I'm obsessed.
Had this underdress.
We call this underdress. You wear one outfit, you put another outfit over it. It's called underdress. Continue, please.
And this is the fabulous outfit that made it happen because it's big enough so it fits over it.
Can't tell, okay.
And the snaps, this is the part, the rip away part.
See, look, you think it's buttons, but it's snaps. Trickster style, that's how we do it on Broadway. We trick ya. Keep going.
So, as I ripped this off, I stepped out of it and I was doing the wig change. By the way, this is Nandita and this is Naomi.
Hi, Nandita, Naomi. Nandita's Broadway 101.
So, Nandita was in charge of the costume and Naomi was in charge of the wig.
So wait, you were wearing that wig underneath that wig?
No, I had. Yes!
Wow.
I'm getting paid extra for this.
And by paid, she means 0 plus 0 is 0. Okay.
Anything for you, Seth.
Thank you, Natasha.
Yes.
Okay, so that, alright, so the sweater covered up the back of it so you can't see that she's underdressed.
That's right.
Okay, put on the old, now
And
you're
no
stunning.
pins. How am I doing?
Oh, no pins, so it just stays.
No pins.
Microphone
so we can just
here.
take it off. Yes, and the microphone is tight taped so that it doesn't fly around, so it stays in
And it was around 10 seconds. So guys, what I'd like, Natasha, for you to do, I'd like you to do that quick change one more time, but reverse the perspective. So now you guys are backstage, and now that's the audience. And you're gonna see how a quick change actually works. And hit it!
I want to be a part of being Buenos Aires, mi amor. Woo! What's new? Buenos Aires. I knew. I want to say just a little something on you. You'll be on me too. Amazing.
Amazing.
But she's such an amazing figure. I love that. I love that you have the symmetry with. Doesn't she start dead in the musical too?
In the musical, she starts dead, and in Annabelle, she's dying. Basically, the same depressing beginning.
Yeah.
She's giving her last speech. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the dance story, and I love that you vocalized. I noticed that you had these vocal moments. It's fantastic because story told through dance is just as big. I think we're also in a moment of fusion. Mm-hmm. This is a time to see how we can stretch our mediums and where their boundaries are for the sake of story.
Yes.
And experience and a theatrical experience. So, I mean, this is a different version of what the musical theater community knows as the musical, and this music, and this character.
Doña Peron. Hey,
Yes.
before we go, I want to show. It's pronounced Tiburonnes. Now, what is Tiburonnes?
Tiburones is a Spanish word for sharks, and it was. It was a response to the fact that we wanted to tell. We saw that there were two revivals of West Side Story, but that there was non-Latinx people on the team of our creatives. And so we thought we're just going to take that story and we're actually going to make a commentary that there is, a white male man telling our story. So I have one of the dances with the clapper. He's the filmmaker, and you have Ballet Hispanico listening to him, and they go into a riot and they revolt against him. So that's Tiburonnes, which we made right before the pandemic.
I'm going to show a little scissor reel from it. Here we go. Sharks.
Eclecticism in the highest sense.
Hey!
Okay, I have to say something. The depth of the groundedness that choreography has, and those dancers, accompanied with the line and lightness of the ballet knowledge in their body, is singular. You don't see that on TikTok that often. Okay.
No,
and
you
that
don't.
is what is singular about this, that a hinge can live in the same world as a fifth position and move easily between them. That is not easy.
Anna Pache. Okay.
Hello.
That Pache was crazy. 6 o'clock. Okay, so people, here we go. Here's how we can all see this amazing. It's Dona Peron. Please, Dona Peron. It is April 1st to the 3rd. If you want to meet Dr. Lapook, he'll be at every single performance. You go to any of them, and you'll see him there. And don't forget, because you're watching Stars in the House, you get a delicious 20% discount. So you write down Hispánico friend for
20%.
Oh, I was trying. Okay, everybody, it was so lovely having you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you so much for having
thank you
us.
everybody for watching. And peace out, as we say in the business. And hopefully Stars in the House. I think we're going to be back. James, we back next Monday? Next week sometime. All right. I'm going to put on my credits. So lovely meeting you all. I now have to start stretching out. Okay. New credits. New credits. There we go. Oh, I should actually play some music. I'll learn on my piano. Yeah. Don't cry for me, Doña Peron. The truth is, it's a new work. It has bailar, not cantar. So come and see it April 1st through 3rd. You'll get a discount, mis amigos, if you put in, what's the damn code? Hold on. If you put in Hispánico friend. All right, I got to cut. Peace out. Thank you, everyone.